users typically want reports from their database. We're going to do that here. I'm going to do an example, show you what it looks like. This is my students prize giving database. So what we're going to do is a report of students who've got prizes, and we're going to group it by subject. First thing we need to do is create a query, always by going to query design. Never use the wizard. These are the tables which contain the data that I want. I've set up my relationship, so it's already got the links. That's cool. So all I want is prize name, student's name and their tutor group, over the year level, and the subject name. And I will, let's just check it looks like it's supposed to. It does. So I'm going to save that as QRY students. I'm going to call it by subject, even though the query isn't really students by subject. It just happened to include it, but that's how I'm going to use it. So I can close that query now, and I'll click on this and go create and go report wizard and select the query I just made, which it did by default. That's good. And I can, these are the fields which I just selected. We'll have all of those. And I'm going to, how do I want to view my data? By subjects. I want the subject name at the top and then all of the students who've got a prize in that subject. I can add more grouping levels here, so I could group by tutor group and it would lump them all together, but I'm not going to bother with that. I don't need that for this context. And I can sort maybe by last name. That would make sense, wouldn't it? And I think the defaults here are pretty decent. Sometimes I go landscape. And next, and what name do I want for my report? RPT students by subject. Very important in databases that everything is named descriptively, so you don't have to open it to see what's in there. And of course that can be a challenge, but we're all going to rise to that challenge, aren't we? Preview the report. Yep, let's have a look and see what that looks like. Pretty ugly, but it's got the information I want. English prizes here, maths prizes here. Let's go and do a bit of design work on it. So design view, and first thing I want to change is the title. So I'm just going to call it students by subject maybe, or whatever. And maybe I want to have this subject name in a little bit more space, but these perhaps across here. I don't want to have that. I don't know. You need to do some design work to try and make it look good. I'm not a design teacher. Go and actually design teaching what it should look like. Let's have a look at that. Not great. Maybe I need to change this font to make it a bit bigger. I don't know. The default reports are okay in Access. They're certainly not beautiful, are they? So that saved us RPT, and now I save that. It's over here, and we can just double click it and it opens up that report and it bases on that query, and that's all good. But for a database user, they don't really want to have to look through these obscurely named entities on the left here. So what we're going to do, I've actually made a blank form already. Let's go into design view on this, and we're just going to have a button to open that report. And what we'd have is several buttons, one for each report that we think might be useful to the user. And probably we'd have like a label at the top which says something like a title. I think I would, for that report, make the font a bit bigger. Font size. That looks more like a title, doesn't it? Anyway, meanwhile, what was I going to do? I was going to add a button, and that button is going to do report operations, open a report, and the report is going to be the only one I've got at the moment. And I'm going to go with text and say, can I have text as being students by subject? Next. Yep, that's good, doesn't it? So if I now go into this, click my button, opens my report based on my query. Fantastic.